Parshas Devarim, which each and every year is Shabbos Chazon, associated with Tisha B'Av, is classically referred to as a Shabbos of Tochacha. Kadosh Baruch Hu has Moshe Rabbeinu delivering his elegy, his final speech, which lasted for many days, and starts off with the Tochacha, which are listing all the places at the beginning of Devarim, as Rashi points out. The fundamental lesson in Parshas Devarim is, if you pay attention to Kadosh Baruch Hu's mitzvos, you will be receiving the adequate schar, and chas v'shalom, the opposite, l'hepach, if we don't listen, we will have to pay the consequences. A very, very deeper understanding of this concept, not such a superficial one, is found in the Medrash, which brings down to emphasize the point of Tzadik Gozer Kadosh Baruch Hu Mekayim, that if Moshe Rabbeinu says something, it's because of his level of Kedusha and Tzidkus that Kadosh Baruch Hu will be Mekayim that, and that blessing carries down through all ages. And one of the psukim in the parsha, which I would like to discuss for just a moment, is Hovel Lachem Anoshim Chachamim and Avonim V'Yeduim L'Shiftechem Asim Yeim B'Roshechem. Moshe Rabbeinu complained to Kadosh Baruch Hu, I can't carry the burden of this nation. That's the pasuk. It's one of the only pasuk in the Torah we learn in Echatrup, one of the unusual parts of the Torah, where we learn it differently. And the answer is, we'll place people in charge of Klal Yisrael. Now that seems to be a compromise. It seems to be a defeat, because Moshe Rabbeinu should be able to, without their tircha, to lead Klal Yisrael on his own. And yet, we learn a tremendous Gevaldik Pshat in this designation of other people who are going to be Roshechem, who will be able to manage and be leaders of Klal Yisrael. What the pasuk is really telling us is, Tzadik Gozer Kadosh Baruch Hu Mekayim. If we work on ourselves, and we're talking to each and every member of Klal Yisrael, in exactly the same way as Moshe Rabbeinu was going to speak to the Shechina, therefore he couldn't nurse from a Goyish woman, so too each and every Jewish child has opportunity to rise up to the level of Moshe Rabbeinu, and through the Kedusha that he receives both in his mother's milk as well as his mother's Torah, he can become a Moshe Rabbeinu. Each and every Yid has the opportunity to rise up to fulfill his potential and to be the greatest person he can be. A very beautiful and very cute little story to emphasize this point is brought down in the Sefer of Chaim Sheyesh Bohem in the name of Rav Lev Chasman. Rav Lev Chasman was the mashgiach in Chevron Yeshiva, over a very coveted position and person, author of the famous Sefer Or Yahal. If I'm not mistaken, I hope I'm not wrong, he was the teacher of Rav Shalom Shwadron, if I'm not mistaken. Rav Lev Chasman, very, very frequently brought down for his Musar insights and genius. He relates an interesting story. Some of you may have heard it before, but it's worth repeating. He had the schus one Friday night to come to visit the Chafetz Chaim and to have Shabbos meal with the Chafetz Chaim himself. The Chafetz Chaim was extraordinarily sensitive to all those around him, extraordinarily sensitive to Lashon Hara, but he knew what was going on around him. He sat and learned all the time, wrote the Mishnah Brura, is our Posek Hadar, and was well aware of what was going on. So he came home from shul after davening. He did not sing Shalom Aleichem. He immediately got up and made Kiddush and made Hamaitzi and had the first portion served of the fish, and only after they finished the first session of the meal, he started to sing Shalom Aleichem. So obviously, Rabbi Leib did not question what the Chafetz Chaim was doing. He knew what he's doing. He knows where Shalom Aleichem belongs at the beginning, and yet he stuck it in the middle of the meal. And he knew that there was a very good reason for it. But after it was all said and done, and they finished, he said, Yelamdeinu Rabbeinu, please tell me, Rebbe, why did you do that? Why did you change the minhag? And he said with a smile, I knew that you were hungry. and I knew that you were tired, and I wanted you should have a little bit of satisfaction and to fill yourself a little bit, and I knew that the Malachim are not hungry. The Malachim can wait, and they can wait a little bit. This brings us to a very interesting question. How far can we go to change our minhagim, to change that situation, and yet not be called, quote, a reformer? The Reformed Jews and all the Hellenists and all the people throughout history wanted to change everything to make it better for us. They were wrong. The Chafetz Chaim, on the other hand, was right. How do you know the difference? That's what makes a gadol. He knows what he can do to make changes which are consistent with halacha, and it was consistent with the halacha. It's a minhag. But to be mahan another yid, it's also important. It's a very important klal. And he knew what to do and what not to do. Can we aspire to that level? Yes, we can aspire to that. Can we do it? I won't do it. I'm not going to change the minhag. If somebody's tired and hungry, I'll give him a nash before meal. I'm not going to change the shalom aleichem. But this little cute story shows us that we have the ability to use our minds, use our brains, use our seichel to do what is right. And if we keep on working on doing what's right, lefi halacha, we'll make the right decisions and we'll do what's right, and we can all become gedolim in Yisrael. Moshe said, I'm not just the only leader here. I was given Hashem's reshus to make everybody into a leader. Whoever can aspire to be a leader can be a leader, but you have to be capable and row to that designation. So if you work on yourself and you put in the effort, you too can become a leader. It's not just me. I don't have a monopoly on it. It's not just me.